Hey guys, this is going to be the third tutorial about how to program in C++. Today we're going to be going over if, else, and Boolean logic. This is a very helpful statements to use to compare variables, to control user input, and with Boolean logic to see if something is true or false. So first of all, before I show you my program, I'm going to show you a couple things about if-else statements. So the first condition that we have, or the first statement that we have, is an if statement. If statements are always followed by a condition. Now, what is a condition? A condition, like we have down here, we have our variable that we've set as a. We have our condition as if a is less than 10. We have it in parentheses. Make sure you do that. You don't need a semicolon after this. So we say our first statement is if, and then a condition of a is less than 10, do the following. Whatever we want it to do is set in between two curly braces, and that's just the first thing that you can have. So let's say if this condition is not met, well, what happens next? Well, then you put an else if statement, which is the same thing. It's else if and then a condition. So our condition we have is a is greater than 10, then do the following. So basically what it's saying is if this condition is met, do what's in it. If not, do this. Else if, do this. Pretty self-explanatory. So let's run this. I'm going to show you how it works. Compile and run. Okay, here we go. Enter a number, let's say 12. Your number is greater than 10, which is completely correct. 12 is greater than 10. It did what we told it to. I made it, since it read this, computers go completely logically one step after another. And I said this, it was not met, it moved then down to the next condition, which is greater than 10, and I made it output this. This is very simple, just two options. I'm also going to be showing you guys a different type of program, which is basically a menu-based program, very simple menu-based program. Okay, so let's do that right now. Let's keep our variable as a. Let's make a menu-based program by saying something like my world, and let's then end quotes and line, and then. So we're going to basically have a couple of options for the user, and then whatever option they pick is the answer that comes up. So let's put my name is one of the options. A second option is my age, and then let's make a third option have as I just want a number to keep it a little bit more organized. You don't have to, but it just makes a little bit more sense. My siblings. Okay, even though I don't have any, but whatever. Okay, so now let's ask the user to pick an option. So we're going to say pick an option, and we're going to utilize now our input command cin a. So now a is whatever option they picked, 1 through 3. So let's say if, which is our statement, if a equals, now remember, if you want to say a, you don't put 1 equal sign. That will change the variable to the next thing. You don't want to do that. To say if a is this number, you put 2 equals. I'm going to go over that for 1 second before I continue. Here are a couple options for comparing variables. If you say a is less than b, it's a is less than b. You can have a is greater than b. You can also have a is less than or equal to b. Now I'm just using b as an example. A is greater than or equal to b. A equals b. Now remember, if you had 1, it would change it to b. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure you have two equal signs. Or a does not equal. Does not is represented by a exclamation point. Does not equal b. So those are the main options that you would use when using an if and else statement. Okay, so let's continue with our program. if a equals 1, so if the user has inputted the value of 1, so let's look, what did we make that? We said my name, so let's see out Robin, which is actually my name, and end the line, and then close our brackets. Let's then move on to the next thing, which is else if a happens to, if they what they inputted happens to equal 2, then we're gonna open and see out 15, which is my age, and then end the line, close the brackets, and then else if, another else if statement, because you can have more than one. You can have as many else if statements as you want, and as many if statements as you want. So else if a equals 3, which is our third option, do the following, which is see out my siblings don't have any. I don't have any. Okay, let's end the line, close the brackets, and then so let's run this now. Okay, so let's see what happens. I'm going to go to compile and run. I'm running this. Okay, so my world, pick an option. What do we want to pick? Do we want to pick find out my name, my age, or my siblings? Let's do 2. So if the user inputs 2, it outputs my age of 15. Let's run it again to show you that you can do different options. So let's input 1, Robin. It outputs my name. Now you can make this a lot more polished by not just outputting one line. You could kind of turn the question around. My name is Robin, or my age is, because it looks a little bit sloppy when it just has one little line of text. But I mean, it'll be doing the same exact thing. So that's basically it for if and else statements. If you have any questions about how to use them, post them in the comments. I will be glad to help. So I'm just going to say, again, go over what we've been doing. We've included our headers. We defined a variable. We then created a menu-based program and asked the user to input a value. And we have since we have 3 options, we made 3 different conditions. We say if a happens to equal 1, what they inputted, then do the following. Remember, we always kept our brackets. Else if a equals 2, do the following. Else if a equals 3, do the following. And then we paused and ended our program. Also, a good thing, we used else if statements and if statements. So let's say this user is a complete idiot and doesn't input in option 1, 2, or 3. So let's just say else. We get rid of the if statement because we have our 3 conditions. There's nothing else. There's no 4th condition. So we're just saying else if the user inputs something else, do the following. So let's say we'll output no, that's not an option, because obviously we have covered our 3 conditions. So what else is there left? There's else and no, that's not an option. So let's end the line, and again put our little bracket thing there. Let's execute and run that just to show you how that works. Okay, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to input something like 13. No, that's not an option, and program. So that can help you control user input. So you want them to pick a number like 1 through 10, and the user inputs. So the user inputs like 11. You can be like, well, no, don't do that. So you could use if their variable equals 1, do the following. Else if their variable equals 2, do the following. So on and so forth until you get to 10, and then else, your last condition would be, in case they don't input something 1 through 10, just be like, no, that's not an option 1 through 10, and then have them run the program again. Pretty simple. Okay, so that's it for our 3rd tutorial on if, else, and Boolean logic. If you guys have any questions, like I said earlier in this video, post them. I will be putting this source code in the description. Go ahead and download it. If you want me to put more than one source code, just tell me. Okay, that's basically it.